Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Uncharted 4, of course, video game update. This one is actually a Thieves' End review, blurring the lines between game and film. So before I begin, apparently I did not want to start it this way, but it has to be started this way. There are many things that the Uncharted series has brought to to its series, to its fan base, and one of those is basically good graphics, good backstory, and backstory and good like intimacy between like the characters. And sometimes there's just they do too good of a job where they're unable to blur the lines between film and video game. But what does that actually mean? So in order for you to find out, let's delve into this. Let's delve into this review without further ado. So, this is how I want to review this, but I think it is important to get out of the way as quickly as possible. Uncharted series has never done much for me in reality. I've been in awe of the visuals and appreciated the storytelling chops of writers, but the action on screen was so often at odds with the plot that I could never really find a foothold into the world that Naughty Dog had created. So basically what has happened to me is that there's certain parts of the game where it's been like so well choreographed that sometimes it is hard to delve in to the story itself because the characters sometimes tend to blur that with their good acting skills they add into the series. However, as we go deeper into my review, you're going to find out that although it has its fair share of contradictions as well, Uncharted 4 is the first game in the series that has really hooked me, and now I'm finally starting to get to see why I imagine everyone else saw when Uncharted hit the PS3 in 2007. Which basically I didn't see much in the game when 2007 came and it hit the shelves. I really didn't see much in the game, but then eventually I began to play the game, I began to like the game, and I was like, okay, this game is truly something. And we already knew that after once you play the game, you know that you get that feeling this is leading up to something very important, but what is it exactly? So as in previous games, Uncharted 4 doesn't waste any time thrusting Nathan into the action. The game begins with Nathan and his brother Sam speeding towards an island in a boat, pursued by an unknown enemy that clearly wants them dead. After a messy shootout, they end up being rammed by another boat, throwing them into a rough waters before the game quickly jumps back in time. So what's going to happen is that they're going to get chased by an enemy. They're gonna get thrusted by a boat from a different direction, and that's gonna cause is for them to get dropped into the waters, rough seas, get pushed around a lot, and probably gonna pass out for a while. Both him and his brother, and the game's gonna go back in time to when Nathan Drake and his brother were together in one squad as a team. So basically, this can get very interesting, and you get little snippets as well. If you go to if you go to BGR.com, IGN, any of these websites, you get little snippets of these amazing vistas and what these pastime could possibly be. So more than any previous game, Uncharted 4 is an exploration of Nathan's life from his childhood to what might be his final adventure. As the subtitle A Thief's End suggests, years after the events of Uncharted 3, Nathan has settled down with Elena, played brilliantly once again by Emily Rose. And of course, Emily Rose is a wonderful actress, if you don't know. After all, before we get to the meat of the story, it's worth noting that the performances, both voice and motion capture, are some of the best that have ever appeared in a video game. I played through large chunks of the game with my girlfriend, obviously, and she was just as enraptured into the game just as I was. So basically, I was in it, but it seems like she got kind of intertwined with the game itself overall, in which case it's pretty shocking me that I've been playing video games as long as she has, but she really got into it pretty quickly. It took me longer, believe it or not, to get into the story. I guess it's probably because it's about love and all that crap, and things like that. Hopefully she doesn't listen to that part, but mostly it's because as a gamer, I'm not really a guy who's like into like the whole lovey-dovey story type of deal. I'm just more like, okay, the point is, I just want to get to the point of the game real quickly than just sit here and listen to like, side missions and stuff like that. Although the Uncharted series is actually more straightforward, if anything, It's actually one of those games that do not have any side missions at all whatsoever. It's just a straightforward. Once you start the story, you play the story from the beginning till the end. It's not like one of those other adventure games. You have like side stories that can easily throw you off. So Nathan and Elena, after years of hardship, have finally settled down. They have both sworn of the dangerous adventures that nearly got them killed dozens of times over, and Nathan has taken 9 to 5 jobs for the first time in his life. So basically, this is the first time Nathan has actually worked hard ever in his life, and he's planning to continue that. I hope so. But like clockwork, the comfortable reality the two have built for themselves comes crashing down when Nathan brother Sam shows up out of the blue in need of Nathan's help. For the past 15 years, Nathan had thought Sam was dead and blamed himself for not doing everything he could to save him at the time. He wasn't going to fail again, so he lies to Elena and tells her work is going to take him overseas. What he actually doing is helping Sam find the long lost treasure of Captain Henry Avery in order to pay off the debt of dangerous drug lord that helped break Sam out of prison. So this guy got into basically like little triangle, if you will. So he's dig a hole, like a bureau for himself, where he's like knee deep in basically debt, and he needs to get out. And this is his way of doing it, coming into Nathan's life, basically messing everything up for him from his relationship and everything else. So at the end of the day, what I am seeing, what I am prognosticating at this point is that he will not be able to get out of a serious problem at the end of the storyline, because if he's with Elena, you know how Elena is as a character in the game itself. She's very serious. So when Drake messes up, he's obviously in trouble. And then you have Sam, his brother, much that is going to be in the line of fire, but with his own brother Nathan after the game is probably over. Now, the chances of that happening, we don't know as of yet because we haven't gotten to that part of the game, but there's a great possibility that it could very well happen. What follow is the most exhilarating, well-designed, and well-written adventure that Naughty Dog has ever released in its history. The game is somehow thrilling, fast-paced, but takes its time to flesh out the characters and the environments that they explore long before you reach the game's breathtaking conclusion. You'll understand and empathize which of the game's 6 main characters included on that list of the character are Nathan, Sam, Elena, and longtime friend and confidant Sully, as well as antagonist Rafe Adler, a multimillionaire who has history with the Drakes. So apparently this guy has a huge history with the Drakes family. I never heard of this guy. He's a new character. To me, he's a new character. So when I first started playing the Uncharted series, I really didn't know much about the guy. I've been lately researching about the guy, but it seems like he does have a very strong history with his family, and it seems like he could play another significant role one more time with Drake, and one more last time, being that this could be the final and last title of Uncharted, as said last year by, of course, my Naughty Dog. So, and then you have Nathan Ross, the leader of the mercenary outfit. Although they serve a fairly run-of-the-mill villains, their performances elevate them beyond what the writing alone can deliver. But the performances aren't the only elements of the game. Firing on a cylinder climbing feels more natural than it ever did than the PS3. So it has more of a real-life aspect, a real-life engine when it comes to climbing. And that's actually good because you have that disconnect in the PS3. In the PS3, it felt more robotic-like almost to climbing, and it was more or less responsive to unresponsive every now and then. Now it's actually more responsive. It's more real-time based, and if you trip, you fall, you take damage pretty much. So basically, we could just at this point we could ingest right through my experience that you're gonna be dealing with the real engine here in a sense. So for all that is necessary, do not fall because you will be climbing very tall objects as often as Drake does. So although it's not always an option, many of the game's shootouts can be avoided altogether. If you're willing to take the time to sneak around in the tall grass on the cliff faces in the game's expansive environment, that world isn't nearly as open as the world of the latest Tomb Raider game, but you have enough room to chart a course that will give the best chance to take everyone out with it without altering anyone to your presence. So basically it has a stealth aspect now. The game also comes with a stealth aspect, in which case you can either go high up, avoid enemies, hide between the grass, knock them out, continue knocking out enemies without alerting the rest of the camp, which just is perfect because if you want to make it through the game by a breeze, if you play Splinter Cell, chances are you will probably take this route instead, the quiet route, because you want to get through the game a bit faster, especially one of those YouTubers actually film games and things and such, where you want to get through it fast, you won't get dragged behind by others and they get a whole bunch of work just piled on top of you. So that's what this is. You not have a stealth aspect, or you can just go straight in guns blazing, whichever one you prefer. So all in all, it's just hard to believe that Naughty Dog really pulled this off. This whether it is in the theater, in my Netflix square or on my couch, I never get my hopes up. The end to the series, show, movie, or game is going to deliver. Uncharted 4 delivers. So Uncharted 4 is one of the best games of this generation, of course, and easily the best PS4 exclusive to date, and will serve a benchmark for visuals and storytelling for months and possibly years to come. Nonetheless, to say Naughty Dog knocked it out of the park with this one and has delivered a near perfect send-off for a franchise that has been an integral part of the PlayStation for nearly a decade. And for that, it receives 5 stars. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to this review that I've conjured up myself, of course, after getting some hands-on experience with the game. And by all the means necessary, have yourself a great day, and remember, as always, stay safe. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and then follow me on Twitter. And don't forget to hammer that like button. Of course, I'm gonna bring you more content continuously, throughout the day. Of course, throughout the first half of the day, but throughout the week, really. So thank you very much for joining me.